Hello. Good morning. See if I can get this to stay up over here. Maybe not. Anyway, good morning, you guys. I'm a little bit later than what I was hoping, but that's okay. I've got 10 minutes before I have to run to work. And so I'm doing the Strangest Secret challenge. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again because it's amazing. Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. It gives you a 30-day challenge to listen to this Audible for 30 days, and it's 30 minutes, and I do listen to it in like 1.5 speed, so it actually only takes me 20 minutes. Okay, but if you have never done this, I highly recommend it. You can go to YouTube and just search The Strangest Secret, find this Audible recording, and listen to it. So it's been the first thing that I've listened to every single morning, and what I love about it is that something always stands out to me. And today the phrase was, thoughts are worthless unless you act on them. And that just really hit me because I was like, oh my gosh, my brain never stops. All I do is think about everything that's going on, think about everything that could go on, think about everything that has gone on, think about everything that I want to go on. And thoughts are worthless unless we act on them. And I believe that, we're if you're spiritual, like you're praying, you're asking for things in your life. And I believe that things come into your life either as thoughts or like things in your environment. And unless you're actually thinking about them or like recognizing what it is, it's like an answer to your prayers. You got to act on it. You got to take it. You got to do the things, right? And so I was thinking about this and see, thinking about it, we're always thinking about stuff. And I was like, what do I do when a thought comes into my mind? And how do I take action on it to help me move in the direction of my goals? Okay, so if this is something that's going to be helpful for you, drop a 1 in the chat. Tell me hello. Tell me where you're watching from. I always like to know that. I real quick asked ChatGPT, I was like, how many thoughts do we have in a day? And the range was like 6,000 to like 30,000, depending on a person, depending what they have going on, like all this. And I was like, okay, that's too wide of a range. But so I asked it, what about in an hour? How many thoughts does the average person have in an hour? And I want you guys to make a guess. Put it in the chat. Make a guess of how many thoughts you think the average person has in 1 hour. I was actually kind of shocked by this. And now I'm going to be thinking about it all day long and being like, how many have I had this hour? The answer is 2,000 to 3,000 thoughts in a 60-minute time frame. Like, what does that tell you about your brain? Your brain is absolutely incredible because you can be thinking about all these things that you don't even know that you're thinking about, right? Until your reticular activating system brings something into the forefront, right? But our brains are working for us all the time. And so sometimes in my life, I have had this thought where it's like, oh, I should do that, or oh, I should call this person, or I should, go here, or here's the answer to this question. I remember one time, this is like way off subject, but I was teaching math, and so a decade ago, and I still remember this, but I was teaching math, and we were doing a problem in the classroom, and I thought I had the right answer, and then someone's like, no, that's the wrong answer. And I was like, oh, you're right, that is not correct. And I was like thinking, like, how do I solve this problem? How do I solve this problem? And I couldn't figure it out. And then I went to bed and I had a dream. And in the dream, I solved the problem. When I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh my gosh, that's how you solve it. So literally, even when we're sleeping, our brains are working and having thoughts. Okay. So a little side note there. Like, that's how powerful we are. So what do you do? Now, I'll tell you, the first time you have a thought of something that's scary or outside your comfort zone, the first thing that your brain is going to do is tell you all the reasons not to do it and talk you out of it and give you worst case scenarios. Okay. Because our brain wants to protect us. So it's giving us these like amazing thoughts, but then it's like, oh my gosh, don't do that. That's too scary. Okay. So the first thing you want to do when you have a thought that's like that. Okay. So we're talking about like thoughts that are going to lead you to success, thoughts that are going to push you outside your comfort zone and take you down a pathway that is going to create change. Okay. Because that's what I'm all about, creating change in your life, making an impact. Okay. And so you have this thought that comes to your mind. The first thing I suggest that you do is visualize success. Okay. So a thought comes into your mind and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so scary. I want you to immediately think about what happens when you win in that action. What does it look like when you thrive and you succeed in that action? And that should be the first thing that you do. Okay. So step number 1, I said I was going to give you a 3-step plan. Step number 1 is immediately visualize success. Okay. Step number 2 is to create a game plan. Real quick, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so successful. This is going to be so amazing. It's going to work out perfectly for me. Okay. And so these are the action steps I need to do in order to have that outcome. Okay. So you're going to create a plan. That is step number 2. Now, with that plan, okay, the next piece is to take action and obviously start working toward that plan. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do between steps 2 and 3, but I want to caution you, okay, because you need to hold yourself accountable. And so sometimes that means that you need to tell somebody, but you have to be very careful about who you tell, because if you tell a small-minded person, then they are going to talk you out of it and tell your brain that they were right, that you shouldn't have done that, or that you can succeed. Okay. So you have to make sure that if you want to tell somebody to hold yourself accountable, that it is somebody who is a big dreamer like you, somebody who is going to cheer you on and be so excited for you just as much as you are, and like breathe life into you. Okay. So sometimes you might need to preface that. So sometimes I like tell my husband, I'm like, hey, I have this amazing idea. I need you to be 100% on board. It's scary, but I'm so excited about it. So what I'm about to tell you, make sure that you are my biggest cheerleader. Right. And so you can like kind of preface that if you need to. And say, I don't need someone to talk me out of this. Like, I'm set, I'm doing it, and then tell them, right? So if you want to have somebody hold you accountable, make sure that it's somebody who is going to help fuel your fire, not take away from it. Okay. And then the other piece of that is to set a deadline. Okay. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I have this amazing idea. This is what it looks like. This is what I need to do. And then you never put it into action because you don't have a deadline, because you don't have these small stepping stones, then what was the point? Right. So make sure that you set a deadline, or like checkpoints with the game plan that you created. Okay. And I'm telling you guys, if you use this formula, your life is going to change. There's been so many things that I've been so scared to do, but like thoughts popped into my head and I'm like, I got to take action. And if you haven't read the book, so here's my second plug for another book, 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. That is really good too, because there have been times where I'm like super scared to do something, whether it's like talk to somebody, or put myself out there, or hit purchase on something that like even starting my own business, like I was super scared to do that. And I was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, so the 5-second rule is amazing. And it teaches you how to overcome your mind and I don't know how to say it, like the stopping mechanism that it automatically creates for you. So it like distracts you, so that way you can move forward with your goals. So I highly recommend that. Okay. So keeping this super short today. I hope this was helpful. You guys, thoughts are worthless unless we act on them. So if thoughts are coming to your mind that are going to lead you in the direction of your goals or push you outside your comfort zone, I challenge you today to take action. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys later. Bye.